This is the 17th annual Capital Link International Shipping Forum that we are hosting again this year in person. We cover the whole range of sectors and industry topics. Shipping today is in a very critical stage because of regulation, because of geopolitics, because of the inroads of technology, and shipping is a vital link in the global supply chain and global commerce. Different sectors have different dynamics, containers, tankers, dry bulk, and so on. So it is always very interesting to see how each sector is developing and the challenge, the dynamics of each one.
So as the first quarter of this year comes to a close, this is always a timely conference to come together, revisit where we've been so far, but importantly hear from CEOs, CFOs, finance professionals, legal teams, other consultants about where this industry is headed, where the focus is for 2023. It's a great time to be an investor looking at this space. So thank you once again to Nick and to the whole Capital Link team for providing this forum for everyone. Thank you to the Citi Corporate Access team who have arranged these investor one-on-ones.
Really excited to be here. Great to see all the familiar faces and really appreciate the support and the partnership we've had with Capital Link. Shipping is obviously a very interesting and cyclical space. So I cover a lot of things across transportation and shipping, and obviously cyclicality is something I'm very used to. Shipping puts that on steroids, so I have to obviously be calibrated to the markets. And you know, this doesn't feel like some of the best of times that we've had over the years in this room, but it also doesn't feel like some of the more challenging periods of time, even with respect to the last couple of weeks' events here. What I think is really interesting, though, is that everybody comes here, and I've said this several times over the years, I don't think anybody puts on a better show than Nicholas and his team at Capital Link. I don't think you can get this many people in a room talking shipping anywhere else in the world, so really appreciate our partnership with Capital Link and the partnership we have with all of you guys in this room. It wouldn't happen without you, so thank you very much.
During my time as U.S. Ambassador to Greece, bilateral cooperation in the maritime domain increased dramatically, encompassing the defense, security, shipbuilding, and of course, energy sectors. And now, in my new role, I am glad to continue my engagement with the shipping sector at a time when the geopolitics of global energy is more complicated and dynamic than it's ever been.
I would like to thank Nicholas and all of your team at Capital Link and all the sponsors. Having a forum like this is incredibly important for us in the industry. It allows all of us to get connected in the shipping industry and to come together to both learn and to share all of our experiences. How it used to be, how it is today, and then our vision for tomorrow.
I'm delighted to be back here at Capital Link. My focus today is really twofold. One is the critical role of global shipping in terms of the energy transition that's underway in the world today, the role of cargo carriers for critical minerals, the role that's going to be seen in the future for tankers to carry green hydrogen, to carry ammonia, to carry CO2 for sequestration. We really don't know how that market is going to evolve. But the other aspect of my message today focuses on the importance of the immediate situation that the international community faces because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
For 2023, certainly not optimistic in certain sectors of the financial markets, but it's great to be here in the shipping conference today. I mean, looking at shipping, the ships themselves as great stores of value, and they're earning assets with contracts in place in many instances. So once this volatility in the financial market subsides a little bit, hopefully the shipping sector will get a bit more attention in the markets.
I understand that there are delays in the implementation of green strategies, not those that are related with the present regulations, but the future, and especially with regulations about the creation of green alternative fuels.
Well, I think 2023 is not going to be as strong as last year on the new building side, but we will see a pivoting of the market where especially the tanker segment and also the bulker segments will enjoy much better times. So I'm quite optimistic.
Common theme for the shipping industry in particular is going green. Emissions regulations, CII is on everyone's minds, new technology, propulsion technology for ships, new fuels when they will come. This is something, setting aside the macro environment and how this affects the supply-demand dynamics.
We're discussing decarbonization and the role that the international tanker and really all of shipping will have to undertake to move us forward to our decarbonized future. And one of the terms that I picked up from someone else recently is the idea of bending the curve.
We cannot ignore the fact that these geopolitical events, the macroeconomic situations, are things we need to watch out for. So fundamentally, we think it'll be a very strong year for our sector, but of course we are aware that the macroeconomic situation is still uncertain.
The forum has been good. I walked in the door a few hours ago and I could hardly get to the conference itself because there were so many people I hadn't seen in a while who wanted to catch up, who had some good input. And again, I think it's driven by the dynamic in the markets, with the economy sort of on edge where it is, and with the crisis in the Ukraine. There's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot of uncertainties.
We have a little uncertainty, of course, which comes with rising interest rates. People have been used too long for cheap money, and we now have inflation to tame. But I'm optimistic that with the supply chains beginning to return to normal, and with interest rates taming inflation.
A very high quality team of people, very knowledgeable, very experienced, and all of them seem to have a high quality appetite towards risk and reward in the way they invest their shareholders' money.
If we make some small growth assumptions for China, and if we make some more meaningful growth assumptions for India, maybe it doesn't matter that much that we end up in a recession in the US or a slowdown in Europe. Maybe for the sectors that shipping relies upon, maybe that's sufficient growth to deal with an order book which is not that heavy, with the exception of a couple of sectors.
I'm very optimistic that the industry is moving in the right direction. Everyone is on board across the industry value chain, so we're on the right track.
Well, we're still assuming a base case that a mild recession unfolds as we proceed through this year, but we think that the S&P 500 has largely discounted a lot of the risk of a recession, so we see some downside in the near term. We're using 3,700 as a first half target, but we think ultimately that proves to be a buying opportunity and we can end the year closer to 4,000 for the S&P 500.
The banking crisis hopefully will be almost behind us. I think Credit Suisse was the biggest risk. For the Ukraine war, I think that will continue for a while, and I think shipping will benefit from it for a while. I'm very happy that the grain deal was extended, 120 days, okay, but at least I think that's important for bike shipping as well.
The reaction to regulation is always going to depend on market factors. So we see with the container boom of last year, that has had an impact on the, say, the reaction to the regulation, and yeah, all these external factors and shocks will. So it's not obvious, it's not kind of written in stone what's going to happen and how it's all going to play out.
Recession aside, and which could possibly reduce oil flows, everything else standing the way they remain today, We see no change in the tanker market particularly. We see actually an uptick. Volumes have increased. The U.S. has been exporting more and more oil, both to Europe and long haul. China has a post-COVID recovery going on, and we don't see markets changing from the downside anytime soon, actually, and even into 24.
So there's considerable opportunity in the offshore sector. Gas will continue to be in high demand with new projects to capitalize delivery to Europe, as well as offshore in Brazil, Guyana, and the Gulf of the U.S.
To see a brighter future, that would be hard to imagine. To see a longer future for LNG, I think, would be an ongoing crisis in Ukraine that does not resolve readily, which keeps Russia out of the European gas market for an extended period of time. And also this continued focus on energy security above a lot of other considerations that have come to the forefront in the last, up till Ukraine happened.